3, 2.
All right, so a couple years ago, I got this text message from my buddy Anthony Heyman, and when he sent me this text, I was like, dude, this is so true. And it's from the 48 Laws of Power. It's an awesome book. You can listen to it at audible.com. But I'm warning you, it's be careful. Only read it once. How about that? But here's what he texted me, and I want to tell you kind of a story about this and how this relates to you and I being contractors, and about standing your ground with customers and having a successful business, right? Okay, the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Lions circle the hesitant prey. Lions circle the hesitant prey. People have a sixth sense for the weakness of others. If in a first encounter you demonstrate your willingness to compromise, back down, and retreat, you bring out the lion, even in people who are not necessarily bloodthirsty. So, if you are weak and timid and you act that you're willing to compromise and back down and retreat and bend over backwards and do anything for the customer because of possibly your neediness and insecurity for needing money, and you really need the job, right? If your business has hijacked your sympathetic nervous system and has you in a place of survival mode and fight or flight where you really need money, and you do anything to get work, and you let your customers take advantage of you and walk all over you, and you're constantly kicking yourself in the ass because you are agreeing to do things or saying yes, you're creating a tacit agreement with your mouth and implied agreements with customers, and you have all this emotion around the business. This is huge because this gives you another piece of evidence to help you draw your line in the sand. And because not only are you doing this to yourself, you're also co-creating situations with customers and clients that you might not even have been aware of. Let me read it again. Lions circle the hesitant prey. People have a sixth sense for the weakness of others. If in a first encounter you demonstrate your willingness to compromise, back down, and retreat, you bring out the lion, even in people who are not necessarily bloodthirsty. So imagine if you are the client and you've got this landscaper who is like, he's shaky and he's like, yeah, I'll do whatever you want. No, it's okay. There's no extra charge. And would you squint you ever, like, you know, like in the movies or anything, you squint your eyes? So you mean to tell me I can get a free cookie right now? It's like, even if they're not necessarily that type of person to even be predatory like a lion, if you act that way, you are creating an environment for that to well up inside of a person. And okay, in the world of commerce, in the world of business, you've been trained and conditioned to get as much input for the least amount of output. You're conditioned to get as much stuff you can, get the best deal for the least price, or make the most amount of money for the least amount of work. It's all about that, right? That's all about entrepreneurship and commerce, and I'm not saying that's good or bad or right or wrong. It's just relative, right? But just know that people will go as far as you allow them to. They'll go as far as people will go as far as they can take it. I mean, imagine a customer, you said, for like $50. You go there and you cut the grass and trim their bushes and lay down mulch, and it's only $150, right? And hey, there's no charge. I'll do this too, and you do this, and then like, okay, I'll come back tomorrow and I'll work all day for $50. Let's just say you will come back tomorrow all day for $50, and you do come the next day and you work your ass off, you're doing everything, you're like, yeah, for another $50 I'll come back tomorrow and I'll pull all the weeds, and then how far would any average person let you go and keep you doing that before they go, okay, like, I feel like I'm really taking advantage of you, or you're really dumb, or hey, let's pay you accordingly? How far would they take it? Would they let you literally just, whoa, $50 a day, I'll let this guy work himself all summer, this is great? They get on the phone with their friends, can you believe it? I got this guy, he'll come all day for $50. Yeah, I know, it's amazing. Would a person who's not necessarily even that type of person let you do that? Well, here's the thing. Are you doing, I'm not saying to that extreme, I don't know. When I first started my business, dude, I was like a crackhead. I would do anything to pay my bills, and I wasn't even aware that the way I was being around my customers was making them not even be able to help themselves, but to take advantage of me. And they were calling their friends, telling their friends how stupid I was, probably, and how good of a deal it was. And maybe a lot of you are way past all this stuff, but it's just a great thing to think about. You know, I forgot to say the whole other part of the video is that when you are, now I feel like I got to remake the damn video. Don't press stop, because I didn't get to the point. I go way too long and I start digressing in all these little subcategories of communication, when I could have just said, on the reciprocal of that, when you're very strong and you have boundaries, and you don't have to burn any energy to be strong, you could just be very calm and present. Imagine you have 100 grand in the bank and the customer, hey, how much to do this? That'll be about $3,500. $3,500? Yeah, I've done it 1,000 times, and I'll break down everything that goes into it right now. If you want to discuss it, are you open for the discussion? No. Okay. When you have the power and you have the control and you create the value and you don't have any neediness for money because you already have money in the bank, and that's why this thing is an expand the top as you dissolve the bottom. You expand the top as you dissolve the bottom. Because I guarantee you, all the stupid shit that you do your first year in business, you wouldn't do any of that stuff if you had $100,000 in the bank and no debt and all your bills paid. Your behavior would be different. It'd be totally different. So that's all I want to say. Is the funniest thing is, I go into this in my new online course. It's coming out very soon. It's called Landscaping Business Course Part 2. And I go and I break all this stuff down, and I do a time over money, and we create a graph, and we go up in the season, and we talk about the seasonality of our businesses, and then I start breaking down the ROI of these conversations and these agreements with the customers, and how you can maximize the most amount of profit for the least amount of output, but do it in a strategic way. So you're not just blindly like raising all your prices and losing your clients. You have to base this off of the amount of options that you have. How many leads are coming in? How many customers want your services? How many people are requesting your time? And what type of services do you specialize in? What's the going rate in the marketplace, right? And based off of that data, you can hone in on a very, very sweet spot where you can find that thing and just work that thing over and over and over and over and over, where you can just state your price and get the work, and not repeatedly keep getting caught up in doing shit that you hate doing for no money, right? That's why it's so important to track all the data. And you can't get to a point in your consciousness and in your business where you even make time to track all the data if you're trapped in the lower levels of being trapped in survival mode, where you're, you know what I'm saying? So when you're in fight or flight mode, you can't get into these higher levels of consciousness because you're trapped in a low vibration. Does it make sense? Okay, that's all. It's all an uphill thing. See, how am I going to upload that type of video when I made that shit way too fucking long and deep? I pull people in, I bring them down the rabbit hole, then they're like, fuck this, and they bounce. Are you still recording? Yeah? That's why when I make these videos, I think I'll make this whole video. I know what the hell I'm talking about, but I need to take the time to sit down and create frameworks. Step 1 through 5. Create models and frameworks, whether it be symbols tied tangentially connected together that I can put on a whiteboard, or I can print them out and show you this stuff so your brain can look at it and see these metaphors, and then you go, oh, that makes sense, because I get it, and I try to verbalize it, but I negate it by just using the mode of communication that's verbal, because it's just strictly auditory. You can't get it like that. A lot of people have to understand things by going through the pinnacle of learning at the very top is that of actual real tactical experience. Means you have to actually do the thing with your physical body in linear time and feel it, and feel the fucking excitement or the pain and suffering, and your muscles doing it, and dig your hands in the dirt so you can, dig the shovel in, and then you plant the bush, and then you water it, and then you come back a year later and you see it flowering or dead and go, now I understand why you have to, once you go through these issues over and over and over, and you start to see the forest for the trees, you zoom out, and now you can actually start to make these distinctions of what happens, and that's how you learn. You learn through repetition, right? But if you just get into something and you're wondering why, it's because you don't have a map or a model to integrate this stuff into your subconscious so you can fully integrate it into your life, into practice. And that's why mastery does not come without tons of practice, right? And that's why being a practitioner is somebody who's really out doing the thing, living and breathing it every day with their finger on the pulse. All right, I end this video, dude.